Scientifically speaking, the person who went to bed in your body last night is already dead. And the person listening to my voice right now, at this exact moment, is nothing but a temporary imposter. Every single morning, we wake up, look in the mirror, and take our existence completely for granted. We firmly believe that our identity, our soul, and our memories form a solid, unbroken chain from birth to death. We call this the continuous self. But terrifyingly, modern cutting-edge neuroscience has just completely shattered that sweet, comfortable illusion. Right now, the world's top neuroscientists at MIT, Harvard, and Stanford are losing sleep over one deeply unsettling discovery. They are realizing that the human brain is not the stable, predictable machine we once thought it was. Its internal code is not fixed, it is drifting, shifting and dissolving every single second of your existence. This means that the you of yesterday and the you of today are quite literally two entirely different people. This profound and bizarre phenomenon has now been given an official academic name, neural drift. In a groundbreaking study, published in the prestigious journal Nature Neuroscience, a joint research team from MIT and Stanford decided to investigate this deeply. They tracked the hippocampal, neurons of primates and mice over several consecutive months. The hippocampus is the critical region of the brain, responsible for spatial navigation and memory formation. The scientists trained the animals to navigate a specific maze until they knew it perfectly. Day after day, the animals performed the exact same task, in the exact same space. But when the researchers looked at the data, they were completely stunned. The activation patterns of the neurons, responsible for recognizing that specific maze, were slowly, but surely drifting away into entirely new patterns. The memory was not staying in one place. It was sliding across the neural landscape, like a ship drifting across a vast, trackless ocean. The neural terrain that holds your memories is not a concrete vault. It is a drawing sketched onto a sandy beach, shifting its shape every single time a new wave hits the shore. Follow-up studies utilizing advanced fMRI scans confirmed that the exact same neural drift is constantly occurring in the human, frontal and temporal lobes. These are the regions of your brain that handle high-level decision-making, personality, and conscious thought. The most terrifying part is that neural drift is fundamentally different from neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is where the brain rewires itself over the long term, as a result of active learning or hard practice. Neural drift, however, requires absolutely nothing. It happens completely automatically, without any new information. And even when you are doing absolutely nothing at all, this means that as you sit there right now staring at this screen, the source code inside your skull is quietly, silently mutating into a different form. If our biological hardware is in a constant state of fluid chaos, how on earth do we wake up every day feeling like the exact same person? How do we maintain a consistent, stable narrative of self across years and decades? Interestingly enough, this scientific mystery perfectly echoes a battle that has been raging in the world of philosophy for hundreds of years. For centuries, Western civilization was deeply rooted in the idea of an immutable, unchanging soul, established by René Descartes' famous phrase, "I think, therefore I am." Descartes believed the conscious self was an unshakable rock at the core of our being. But the brilliant 18th century Scottish philosopher David Hume looked inward and arrived at a conclusion that perfectly mirrors modern 21st century neuroscience. Hume stated that no matter how hard he looked inside his own mind, he could never catch a single permanent thing called the self. He famously declared that the human mind is nothing but a bundle, or collection of different perceptions, succeeding one another with an inconceivable rapidity. Hume called the human mind a theater, where various perceptions make their appearances, pass, glide away, and mingle. But here was his genius catch: there is no actual stage, and there is no permanent physical theater building. There is only the continuous, rapid succession of the plays themselves. And today, the data from our most advanced fMRI machines and real-time neural tracking technologies is officially declaring David Hume the winner. So why did evolution design our brains to live in a constant state of neural fluctuation? The answer is beautiful. It is our ultimate survival weapon in a wildly unpredictable universe. If our brains were rigid machines built with hard-coded, unyielding circuits, we would be incredibly fragile. Under the weight of daily stress, sudden trauma, and rapid environmental shifts, a rigid brain would snap and break. The brain is a fluid sculpture made of living clay, constantly molding itself to the shifting winds and rain of reality. This fluidity applies directly to our memories as well. In reality, every single time you recall a memory, your brain does not play a recording, it physically rewrites the entire story from scratch. In neuroscience, this mind-blowing process is known as memory reconsolidation, pioneered in the year 2000 by Dr. Karim Nader at McGill University. His research demonstrated that when a memory is recalled, it enters an incredibly fragile, unstable, and mutable state in the brain. While it is active, it is completely open to editing. If you're feeling happy, safe, and successful today, your brain will pull up your past memories and re-record them with a positive, warm filter. But if you are feeling depressed, anxious, or defeated today, your brain will take those exact same past events and resave them with a dark, tragic tint. Ultimately, the past you that you protect so fiercely is not an objective historical fact. It is a subjective piece of historical fiction, actively fabricated by your current brain at this very moment. While this might sound terrifying at first, it actually carries a profound sense of liberation and immense comfort. The heavy, paralyzing worries about your past lose their grip, because the specific brain that experienced that past failure literally no longer exists. We can see practical, everyday proof of this constant neural upgrade in a universal experience. We all know too well cringe. We have all had those moments late at night when a random memory from a few years ago pops into our heads. Instantly, our stomach knots up, and we feel an intense wave of embarrassment over an old mistake. But why do we feel this cognitive dissonance? Because your current brain is operating on a far more advanced, completely different neural code than it did back then. Therefore, when it looks back at that old memory, it genuinely cannot comprehend or accept why that past person acted so foolishly. It is a literal cognitive rejection. Your brain is reacting as if it is watching the blunder of a total stranger. So the next time you feel a wave of cringe over your past, do not beat yourself up. That discomfort is the physical, biological proof of your evolution. It is your brain's way of signaling that its software has successfully upgraded. Most of our psychological suffering comes from our desperate, exhausting attempts to protect a solid self that doesn't even exist. But if the self is just a beautiful mirage, flashing on and off in the span of a split second, the heavy gravity of life suddenly lifts. Realizing that you are not a fixed entity means that you are a space of infinite, untamed potential. You are never truly stuck. You can literally become anything. Over 2,500 years ago, the Buddha taught the core concepts of anicca, the radical impermanence of all things, and anatta, the non-existence of a permanent, unchanging self. The spiritual enlightenment realized under the Bodhi tree is now being mapped out, neuron by neuron, through modern neuroimaging technologies. The ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus famously stated that you can never step into the same river twice, because the water is constantly moving. By the exact same token, you can never think with the same brain twice. What is truly magnificent is that Heraclitus, the Buddha, David Hume, and modern neuroscience all stand on different points of history, yet point their fingers at the exact same conclusion. So how do we practical human beings live our lives with this beautifully fluid, drifting brain? The answer is incredibly empowering. You become the active editor of your own neural code. You read deep, challenging books, you immerse yourself in magnificent art. You travel to unfamiliar landscapes, and you seek out the unfamiliar. When you do this, your brain takes these rich materials and immediately uses them to rebuild a smarter, wiser, and more resilient version of you. We are not cold, mechanical robots stamped out of a factory line to fulfill a tragic, unchangeable destiny. We are the grand, cosmic storytellers of our own reality. The fact that you are not a fixed, permanent entity is the ultimate cosmic gift. It means that every single morning you open your eyes, you are stepping onto a stage with a completely blank canvas. Remember, your brain is a river. Trying to freeze the water is where all human suffering begins. But learning to surf the current is where true wisdom awakens. Thank you so much for investing your time and your mind with us today. If your current, newly updated brain enjoyed these deep insights, please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, sign, and share this video with someone who needs to break free from their past. Step out into the world today with a clean slate, embrace the flow, and have a truly dazzling day with your brand new brain.